Our cosmos is an intriguing place, and we have progressively learned a great deal about it over several thousand years of technological progress. But, for better or worse, some beliefs just make us desire to learn more about what's really out there. Welcome to Z, and today we're taking a deeper look at 4 universe theories that will keep you awake at night. We enter the brain world for theory number 1. Naturally, it's tough to conceive something as vast and, well, universal as the universe collapsing. However, scientists predict that it will happen eventually. Some models say that in order to figure out how, when, and why, we must go back in time to the very first moments when the universe began. The cosmos began approximately 13.8 billion years ago, according to our knowledge. For what is often known as the Big Bang, space and time erupted from an exceedingly tiny and dense point. Following this, the cosmos quickly expanded in all directions, finally settling into what we know today. This is what scientists refer to as the traditional inflation model. Despite the fact that its basic concept is accepted by most physicists, the precise mechanism responsible for inflation is unknown. That presents a challenge. So, in 2001, physicists Paul Steinhardt, Justin Curry, Neil Turok, and Bert Overath proposed ekpyrotic cosmology, a radical alternative theory. According to ekpyrotic cosmology, there is no beginning of time, as there is in the Big Bang theory. Instead, it claims that our three-dimensional cosmos has an additional spatial dimension known as the bulk. The bulk is both very large and extremely complex at the same time. According to this hypothesis, our universe is not alone. It resides on one of at least 2, perhaps 4-dimensional membranes, or sheets, floating within the bulk, a strange, possibly 5-dimensional environment. In the here and now, however, we do know, or suspect, that galaxies will someday drift so far apart from one another, due to inflation, that light from one would never reach the other. As a result, stars will age and die, and our universe will one day become a cold and empty emptiness. However, while this may appear to be the end of reality, it is actually the beginning of the next universe, according to brain cosmology. This is what happens when one cold and empty brain in the bulk collides with another over time. According to proponents of the brain world, this collision may generate enough energy to create a completely new universe in an infinite loop. The new brains will continue in this manner indefinitely. Emergence, evolution, and death. But they're also getting closer and closer together over trillions of years, eventually slamming into, and through, each other with enough energy to create even more brain worlds. Instead of the Big Bang, there's what is known as the Big Splat, time and time again. You pick if it's all quite dismal and hopeless, or majestic and hopeful. In comparison, there is relatively little debate about the apparent futility of theory number 2, spurious vacuum decay. We're starting with some of the most fundamental scientific principles. Lower energy means stability, according to physics, and that all systems and particles then attempt to become stable by attempting to move toward the lowest feasible energy level, often known as the vacuum state. It's hard science, but when it comes to scary universe theories in general, that journey to the vacuum state is crucial, because if it doesn't happen, we have a problem. Physicists believe that the Higgs field, a type of energy plane that gives particles mass and is found throughout the cosmos, is not in its genuine vacuum form. As a result, the Higgs field is most likely functioning in a false vacuum. Much like a ball that falls from the top of a hill and lands in a valley, unaware that there is an even lower valley nearby to fall into. The Higgs field is in an apparent stable condition, although it is not the lowest energy state imaginable. And this has the potential to be disastrous. Because, in principle, that fake vacuum state could shift at any time, and when it does, the Higgs field could effectively annihilate the entire universe by default. Everything we've ever known, or could ever know, has vanished easily and neatly. All that is required is for any point in space to collapse into that lower energy state to transition from false to genuine vacuum. This would create a vacuum bubble, which would then grow outward from that point at the speed of light, obliterating anything it came into contact with. The most terrifying aspect is that, with the vacuum spreading at light speed, we would have no warning of what was about to happen to us here on Earth until it arrived. So, one minute we're living our lives, the next we've been physically rewritten out of existence. It may happen right now, we just don't know. Fortunately, if you are still alive to watch this video, the universe is still stable at this time. So, let us proceed. And it's not like the instantaneous dissolution of everything is the only thing to be concerned about. The gloomy woodland is theory number 3. This one isn't quite as comprehensive in its representation of the end times, but it's essentially constructed on deep-seated cosmic anxiety. We know the cosmos is vast and contains a significant number of habitable planets. But, as the Fermi paradox points out, why haven't we heard from any other alien civilization? In general, the dark forest concept argues that the most intelligent alien groups are likewise avoiding contact on purpose. The hypothesis, which was first proposed in Liu Cixin's sci-fi novel The Dark Forest, considers the potential that any alien life would have to expand in a cosmos with limited resources. As a result, the hunger for resources may eventually lead to intergalactic strife, competition and rivalry among distinct alien cultures, with possibly catastrophic consequences. To avoid this, the safest course of action could be to wipe off any other life forms before doing the same to them, or to avoid all other life forms at all costs. In general, the universe is compared to a gloomy forest in this way. According to this viewpoint, any hypothetical alien civilization is a stealthy hunter, prowling discreetly through the forest, i.e., the universe, and doing their best to be cautious, because they realize they may not be the only hunter in the forest or the universe. If life in any other form is discovered, it's either kill or be killed. Open fire and destroy it, or you'll be wiped out first if you wait. On one level, it transforms reality into an all-action video game. On the other hand, it means that we're constantly one bad step away from disaster. Furthermore, it is one possible explanation for the so-called vast stillness, a word strongly associated with the Fermi paradox, since the silence of the stars is explained away here because everything is either already dead or too terrified to make a sound. But, shall we conclude with something a little more upbeat? Theory number 4 may still keep you awake at night, but only because its ramifications are so vast and profound that they are difficult to fathom in the first place: quantum immortality. We can begin with Erwin Schrödinger and his most famous thought experiment. Put a live cat in a sealed box with a hammer, a bottle of deadly gas, and a trace amount of radioactive material. If even one atom of the radioactive chemical decays, a relay mechanism releases the hammer, which breaks the vial of gas and kills the cat. Isn't it simple? Except that it isn't. Not quite. Because, according to the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics, until someone peeked inside the box, Schrödinger's cat might be both alive and dead. This indicated that, in that precise case, the observer could, and would, directly influence the cat's final destiny. Observation was crucial. The same may be said about the universe as a whole. Particles, like Schrödinger's cat, can exist in various states until they are measured or seen. When this happens, the particle is said to collapse into one of the numerous states it initially had. But, while all of this is fascinating, how does it equate to living forever? In a many-worlds multiverse, the increasingly common concept of reality in which there are other universes beyond this one, an intriguing scenario emerges. Every time you open the box to check on the cat, reality divides. The cat dies in one universe and lives in another. If we repeat the procedure a billion times, a trillion times in one universe, we will inevitably acquire a living and practically immortal cat. Despite the fact that all other universe forms succumb to the poison, it never dies. While we can never know which of the cat's versions is truly immortal, the many-worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics claims that its immortality is guaranteed, because at least one incarnation of its consciousness would always and forever branch out to follow whatever path does not lead to its death. So, while it remains a contentious topic, quantum immortality is a tantalizing hypothesis that may leave us with more questions than answers. It implies that there is an inherent existential crisis in the repercussions of every single decision made for everyone and everything. For the time being, there is much more to the universe that we have yet to fully comprehend. There are numerous breathtaking and sometimes horrifying possibilities available. However, the brain world, vacuum decay, the dark forest, and quantum immortality are 4 universe theories that will keep you awake at night. What are your thoughts? Is there anything we left out? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to stay up to date on our latest content.